I'm Whitney, I'm a registered dietitian, and I'll be going over what we typically will go over at your initial visit before surgery. What we talk about at your first visit is some behavior modifications and also protein, which I'll get to in a minute. So for the first one we go over, it'll be following a structured eating pattern. So it's very important when you're preparing for surgery to really get into a routine that's going to allow you to give yourself the best nutrition you can get prior to surgery and then also after surgery. What we're looking for with these meals and snacks is going to be quality nutrition with high protein and also getting in some good complex carbohydrates with your vegetables, fruits, things like that. 3 meals a day, what we're looking for are 3 high protein meals. If you're not a breakfast eater, I understand that's okay, but we do have to figure out how to get that healthy protein in that meal time. So what I typically recommend, if you don't like your breakfast meal, have a protein shake and then go with your lunch and dinner as your 2 high protein meals. Skipping meals is not recommended just because we really need you to focus on getting in that nutrition. You have to think about after surgery, your portions are going to be a lot smaller, and only having 1 or 2 meals a day is not going to give you the nutrition you'll need after surgery and long term. So getting into that habit now, getting into a routine that works well with your schedule is going to offer you those long-term results after surgery. Snacks are there also to help you get that extra nutrition in, again, smaller portions. You may feel hungrier between those meal times, more so than you do before surgery with your normal size portions. So snacks are perfectly fine. They help you get that extra nutrition in. We just want those to be high protein snacks, high quality nutrition snacks to give you or offer you the best nutrition possible. Right here where you see some meal times, this is just an ideal meal pattern. It doesn't have to be your exact meal pattern. I understand schedules can change for everyone. Typically, I just want you to find 3 times a day where you can get good, high quality meals. And if you're hungry in between those meals, please feel free to have some snacks in between there. We're just really looking for a good routine that works well with your schedule that's going to offer you the best nutrition possible. You are going to see 3 apps down here. All 3 of these apps are free on the App Store. You may be familiar with some of these like MyFitnessPal or the Lose It app. These apps are great apps. If you're familiar with those, feel free to use those. But we do have a really great app called Berrytastic. It is an app that we like to use with our clinic, and there will be an access code next to it that will link you to our practice and will give you the option to connect with your dietitian directly. So if ever you have questions about your intake or you're curious about where your needs are, I can definitely look in and see what you're doing and kind of monitor that and make sure you're doing everything you need to be doing. You also have options like looking for recipes, exercise videos, ways to track your protein, calories, all of that in that app, and it's all free to you if you decide to use it. Number 2 is going to be practicing mindful eating. What mindful eating is just really paying attention to the amount of time it takes you to finish a meal. A lot of times we eat way too quickly. With your full-size stomach, that may not be an issue for you, but your stomach will be a lot smaller after surgery. So practicing slowing down, chewing your food now will 1, be better for your digestion, and 2, is going to help you prepare for that smaller stomach after surgery. It takes anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes for your stomach to actually start feeling full. So if you're finishing your whole meal and it hasn't even been 15 minutes yet, then you're likely going to overeat because you haven't given yourself a chance to feel full yet. So really, really focus on slowing down, chewing slowly, swallowing your food, and then kind of assessing how you feel before you finish your meal. If you're satisfied with that meal, stop there. If you still need to eat more, that's okay. But really just start to kind of figure out where that fullness feeling is before you just finish your plate. Number 3, we move on to your fluid needs. Fluid intake is going to be extremely important after surgery. In my opinion, it's one of the most important things. We want to aim for at least 64 ounces of hydrating fluids a day. We consider anything hydrating to come from caffeine-free, sugar-free, and non-carbonated beverages. So we're looking for 64 ounces at least. If you can do more than that, even better. If you drink coffee or tea, that's perfectly fine, but if they're caffeinated, they will not count towards your hydration. The only time you have to completely avoid caffeine is for the first 30 days after surgery, and that is just to make sure that you're staying hydrated. Within that first 30 days is when you're most at risk for that dehydration. So really focus on getting in those hydrating fluids if you're not already. No carbonation, no caffeine, and no sugary drinks are going to count towards your hydrating fluids. So make sure you're focusing on water. If you needed to flavor your water with Crystal Light or those sugar-free flavor enhancers, you can. Powerade Zero, Gatorade Zero, Propel Zero, all of those will also count towards your hydration as well. If you miss the caffeine or the coffee, the tea, you can drink those decaf beverages if they're unsweet, and they will also count towards your hydration. The reason that hydration is so important is the amount of protein you'll be doing after surgery will require you to have more hydration. So your diet will be changing a whole lot. All of that protein that you'll be doing with your fluids, protein needs after surgery, will be changing. That protein requires a lot of water to digest and break down. So if you're not getting in that adequate hydration, that is where we run into a lot of risk with dehydration and also constipation. So really make sure you're paying attention to that hydration and focusing more on those fluids than anything. Carbonated beverages in the form of sodas, energy drinks, beer, anything with the bubbles in it. That carbonation is not going to be recommended after surgery. So if you're already drinking those drinks, start backing off of those now so you can really prepare for that. The reason we don't recommend carbonation after surgery is that carbonation, the bubbles, is a gas. It's CO2. And inside that smaller stomach pouch, it causes a lot of extra pressure. And introducing all that pressure into your stomach consistently can really affect the size of that stomach pouch over time. So we really recommend to back off the carbonation and really avoid them as much as possible after the surgery. So regular Gatorades, anything that has a lot of sugar in it, like juices, orange juice, apple juice, you really want to be mindful of. Introducing a lot of that sugar into your diet after the surgery is not beneficial for your weight loss. So get good at reading your labels, look at the sugar content of your drinks, and just try to find alternatives or look for the sugar-free kinds, or just drink water to help you stay hydrated after surgery. With your stomach being as small as it's going to be, you have to make sure that you're eating your nutrition first and then saving your liquids for later. If you're eating and drinking at the same time, it's going to cause you to fill up too much within that smaller stomach pouch, and you're going to fill up faster than you're already going to be after the surgery. So focus on eating first, drinking later. If you're in the habit of eating and drinking right now at the same time, start practicing that so you can really prepare for what that will be like after surgery. Physical activity is the last thing we'll talk about with your behavior modifications. I really want you to start getting into a routine, whether if it's just 5 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes, 3 times a week, whatever it means to you to be more physically active within your day. The more you can prepare more before surgery, the easier it's going to be for you after to stick with that routine. The reason physical activity is so important is because as you're losing weight, you're going to be losing muscle mass as well. The more protein and physical activity you have in your lifestyle, the better chance you're going to have at maintaining your muscle mass. When you have more muscle mass, your metabolism will be better. So more muscle mass, more calories burned. Over time, you're going to see a difference in that weight loss and maintaining that weight loss long term. So physical activity will be important. It's not the key to your weight loss. 80% of your weight loss will be diet related. So it's just important to get all of these in together. I never ask you to change everything all at once. So if you like one thing on this, or if you notice one thing on this list that you feel like you need to work on the most, start there. If you're drinking a soda a day, go to every other day. If you're not exercising at all, just do 5 minutes twice a week. Just do whatever it is to just start creating those habits and forming those new changes into your lifestyle, and you're going to see the results long term.